Loyalty as well, and you can get more of information at iHeartRadio. And we are on the iHeartRadio app. Go over there and download the iHeartRadio app right now, and you will be able to listen to this broadcast as well as many other great interviews that we've got over there. But before we get into our next segment with Dr. Nick Delgado, we want to tell you about our newest marketing partner over there at Transmedia Worldwide. That's right, this episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. Blue Chew brings you the first chewable with the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis. And, of course, Blue Chew is made in the USA. It's prescribed online by licensed physicians, so you don't have to go to the doctor or wait in line. It's even cheaper than a pharmacy, and they prepare and ship it to you in a discreet package. No awkwardness. You don't need to leave the house. And you can get more information at BlueChew.com. That's BlueChew.com, and use the special code Jiggy, which is Jiggy, and you just pay $5 shipping. Your first shipment of Blue Chew is absolutely on Blue Chew when you use our promo code Jiggy. That's BlueChew.com. And Blue Chew is the better, cheaper, faster choice, and we thank them for sponsoring the podcast today. And remember, when you support our sponsors, you help make the podcast possible. So please be sure to use Jiggy at BlueChew.com. Chew it and do it. Be a fish in a hurricane. And thanks for listening. BlueChew.com, promo code Jiggy. So let's go to Dr. Nick Delgado, who's got a fabulous, fabulous new book. Doctor, tell us about this latest book, my friend.
Yeah, well, James, the latest book is titled Blood Doesn't Lie. And it is going into the discovery that, as you just coughed, the immune system helps us to build up a army of defenders.
Yes.
And this army of defenders has been around for, since the beginning of humanity. Essentially, it's quite astonishing that most of the media is leading us to believe that we have to kind of hide under a rock almost and isolate ourselves at great distances and do things that really don't make much sense when you understand how powerful the immune system is. And that's what this book is dedicated to. It's on Amazon. It's a fast read. They just have to look up Blood Doesn't Lie by Dr. Nick Delgado. And it's already got 5-star reviews. It just went up a few days ago. So we're really excited about it because it is really teaching people what foods actually build up the immune system, what foods depress the immune system. It's going into how the body mounts a defense, what hormones, what 4 critical hormones improve the immune system. And so we go into how outdoors activity and the daylight and the sun and sleep cycles, all of these things and more, most of which no one is talking about in the general media.
It is Dr. Nick Delgado is with us today here on our big program. So this book, take me through the writing process for this incredible book, my friend.
Well, that's a great story. I have a team of medical doctors and scientists and educators, and we comb through medical journals over the last literally 43 years, but we've focused in the last, if you will, 4 months during all of this rather trying condition and situation. And so I think that, the world's attention is now upon us because everyone's looking for a solution of how to support a strong, healthy immune system. And, we have medical doctors, Dr. Michael Grossman. We have Dr. Kathleen Geringer, Dr. Joseph Maroon. We have none other than Dr. Neil Batsonov, a medical doctor. All across the country, they're saying the same thing. This book could be life-saving. And the reality is that it really kind of gets back to the process of kind of analysis. James, when you think of a trying situation or condition, you read through all the current literature, but I also was going through the general social media. And unfortunately, the social media
Yes.
is very disturbing, fear-mongering, and really not giving you much direction. They just keep saying, well, wait some time and we're going to have some, injection solution. So I really took this project serious. I think it's the best book I've ever written. And basically, when we look at the 10 steps to support if you do get like a chronic cold, cough, or flu, and of course they're calling this flu the corona, right? And so this is the thing that these viruses have been around based on genetic testing. It's called genetic sequencing. And when they took 8,000 healthy people who never had any symptoms and they tested them, they were shocked to find that 74 different viruses are naturally present in the human body, and they only develop at, if you will, a viral load type of danger is if the human body's immune system overall, in other words, if your adrenal function, if your body, if you feel weak, if you're old, if you're not really taking care of yourself, if you're taking drugs, chemicals, these things really weaken the body. So those are the people that I'm most focused on. The healthy, strong, and young people, they're going to do quite fine unless somehow they're abusing their body in manners that are less than ideal, pounding down the sugar and the fats and the oils and eating improperly. Those people will be susceptible, but in most cases they'll recover.
We have got a great guest with us today. He joins us live. Dr. Nick Delgado is with us. This book is incredible. So tell me about some of the different reviews and feedback you've gotten on the book so far, my friend.
Oh, it's exciting. I am blessed because the doctors that are reviewing the book and the general public, I'll give you a good example. I think you've probably heard the name Mark Victor Hansen, who is the co-author of Chicken Soup for the Soul, very famous series of books, and now he has a new series called the Ask series that he's written about me in. And he says the cliche that health is the greatest wealth is true. To be optimally healthy, you need to have a sustainable, perfected immune system. He says, my long-time friend and trusted colleague, Nick Delgado, practices what he preaches, has healed himself from death's door, and done so for many others. Now he has perfected immune system builder to keep you healthy all the days of your life. So, we do have, shall I say, a tremendous amount of excitement that's come up, and the excitement is, I think, well played.
There he went. I don't know what happened. They got him. They got him. I don't know what that means. He'll call back. It is the world famous Jiggy Jaguar radio broadcast, coast to coast and border to border on iHeartRadio. There he is. And we may have to call him because for whatever reason today, our phones are causing us all sorts of issues today.
Sorry, James.
Hey, no problem. I just figured what happened is the fact that you were presenting really great information. I figured all the people that are knocking these doctors that are talking about COVID-19 on YouTube, they're taking their videos down. I thought maybe somebody was taking you down, so
I'm being kind of careful on my YouTube channel. You're right. There's a lot of censorship, if you will, going on. And I will say Dr. Ron Klatz, who's the president of the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine, and answer your question, what kind of reviews and praise, he says, Nick Delgado is a prolific science writer and nutrition expert in the science of human performance sports. He contributes his expertise in this new book, Blood Doesn't Lie. He is a pioneering member of the preventative and alternative medicine movement with special expertise in nutritional health and elite sports performance. What he says works not simply because he's done a respectable job of researching the facts, but because he applies this technology to himself and to his clients who are themselves elite athletes. Nick brings a wealth of real-world expertise to the topic, and his opinions are worthy of attention. Dr. Ron Klatz, MD, DO, he's a medical scientist and the founder of an organization that has over 26,000 physicians around the world that are talking about natural methods to build up the immune system. That's pretty exciting, right, James?
Yes. Yes, indeed. It is Nick Delgado. He's with us today here in our broadcast. He is our first guest of the day. He, of course, has the great new book, Blood Doesn't Lie, and he's with us today here in our broadcast. And so you have some varied themes of all your books. How come? Break this down for us.
Well, the consistency of the themes of my book include the inside job, that acne is an inside job, and it relates to hormonal imbalances. So my book, Acne Be Gone for Good, is co-written with a top board-certified dermatologist in the nation, Dr. Sonia Badarisi-Banisel. And so what we've done is we've gone through and shown how we've discovered a solution that's helped over 50,000 young people and adults with acne to clear up their skin. And in reality, acne does relate to inflammation. It relates to hormonal imbalances. And it's interesting that your own body's immune system also has a lot to do with this inflammatory process and the immune system. So when I wrote the book, Blood Doesn't Lie, that's kind of the relationship. But I also wrote a book in the comment you mentioned, the various titles, Mastering Love, Sex, and Intimacy, because we know that love and contribution and higher levels of kind of worthiness, of feeling self-worth or good self-esteem also builds up the immune system. So I think that in this time when people are being told to isolate and kind of cover themselves up and avoid other humans, it's really not counterintuitive to anything we know about staying healthy. We have a condition called what we have been termed or told the herd effect. And the herd effect actually happens rather quickly. It's really a personalized individual immune system factor because the B cells, the white blood cells, when you actually look at the blood, you can see the different patterns that relate to how to achieve a strong, healthy immune system. So I'm kind of proud because I also wrote a plant-based, oil-free book that teaches people how to get the healthiest nutrition and build up the immune system at the same time. So I believe that the greatest power we have to actually overcome microbes, viruses, and by the way, we must live in compatible situations with viruses. They are a host, we are the host that is, and they live within our body naturally present. We have 10 to the 30th viruses in our body and in our environment, and 10 to the 30th, James, means that we have a trillion, literally 100 trillion viruses in our own bodies as we speak. So to think that we can, shall we say, prevent them from entering our body by wearing, I'll say it simply, a mask, is almost that's immature.
Yes. Thank you for finally saying this. It is Dr. Nick Delgado with us today. He joins us live, and our first guest, we had Jane Velez Mitchell on, and she was talking about the benefits of a plant-based diet. And we've got Dr. Nick Delgado right now talking about the benefits of eating healthy and being involved, and Your Blood Doesn't Lie, and of course the brand new book, Blood Doesn't Lie. He's with us today here on our big broadcast. And Dr. Nick Delgado, you can get more information online. He is fantastic. And so did you grow up as a healthy child, Dr. Nick?
No, actually, James, I'm glad you asked that question. I grew up being overweight. I was challenged in many ways to try and keep my body under control, but I had constant gut problems. I had a digestive issue where I was sick every day just from eating foods that I was eating, and I didn't know it till after a year. I read in a textbook, because the doctor didn't seem to be able to help me, that dairy product could cause severe gut reactions, and so I gave up dairy product when I was only 12 years old, and within days I had solved the problem, and I went years, and now 43 years free of dairy, from animal-based dairy, that is, and it solved the problem. But later, as I got older, I was thinking I was enamored with animal protein because I thought I needed to gain muscle to play football, and I ended up developing high cholesterol, high blood pressure. I became more and more overweight, and I ended up having a TIA, which is known as a stroke. And so when that happened, I found out from reading the work by Nathan Pritikin and meeting Nathan Pritikin himself, I went to work with him at age 22 after having lost 50 pounds, losing that body fat by going plant-based, but not just plant-based. I went sugar-free and oil-free as well, and that seems to be the missing factor in most of these, if you will, plant-based vegan diets. You know, they load it up with sugar and oil to make it kind of taste more like meat, if you will. So the reality is that I've been doing this for 43 years, and having overcome being severely overweight, high blood pressure, a stroke, and gut problems, and skin problems. I had acne. I was on national television dancing on American Bandstand. You remember American Bandstand?
American Bandstand. Yes, indeed. You know what is hilarious, Dr. Nick? This last weekend, I've been, I don't know if you would call it a mentorship, but there's this new radio guy that I've been working with lately, and he made some comment to me about he wants to be the guy that someday the up and coming talent knows to go to him because he'll be able to get them farther, and I'll do these things. And the guy's 25 years old. I knew he would not get any of these references, but I said, oh, sort of like Dick Clark. And he just kind of looked at me like he had no clue. So
he had no clue how big Dick Clark was.
No clue how he didn't know who Dick Clark was. He didn't. I started running down the list of things. I started running down the list of all sorts of different things. And at one point I have thrown out American Bandstand at various people, and these young people don't have a clue.
Well,
don't know, brother.
And we'll take it back to the days of television, right? When there was really the big three, ABC, CBS, and so that's channel 2, 4, and 7. And it's interesting that American Bandstand, broadcasted literally across the entire nation. So people didn't have internet back there. Of course, it's hard for people in this generation to realize that, and so they couldn't patch in on their phone and watch their favorite whatever video and so forth. And so American Bandstand brought the top rock bands.
Yep.
I remember standing 10 feet away from Michael Jackson of the Jackson
That's
5.
Awesome.
And Steppenwolf and Cher of Sonny and Cher, and all these really top people. And then there was a bunch of us teenagers, and we would dance while they were playing music.
Yes.
We were the kind of the backdrop. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is fantastic.
But I'd get these acne breakouts, and it was horrifying because I was going to be on national television. And I think back now what I was doing compared to what I've learned to teach people, and the elements of healthy, whole food eating, exercise, and I'm really big on the proper supplementation to build up the body against this corona flu thing. And just thinking about it, the use of vitamin D3, and I know some of the general medical community lately is saying, oh, that's not going to help you, but all the science shows you get outdoors in the sun. No one argues the sun is a strong immune system builder. Not only does it help support vitamin D levels, but it also builds up what's called cortisol and helps to offset adrenal fatigue. And a little known fact that I brought up in my book that no author, no scientist, no guru, if you will, is talking about. In the book Safe Uses of Cortisol by William McKinley Jeffries, it's interesting, I reference that book, but he discovered that the natural cortisol produced by the adrenal glands is the #1 way to build up the immune system against a flu symptom like cold, cough, fever, being extremely fatigued. These are all symptoms that usually last 14 days, but he discovered by supporting adrenal function. So we created a product, Adrenal Immune Support, with a methyl donor and with adrenal glandulars and echinacea and garlic and all these incredible nutrients. And lo and behold, in most cases, and then you might need a prescription for hydrocortisone. It's also known as cortisol. Cortef is one of the Upjohn name brand, and it probably run you about $30 or so. But within about 3-4 days, he was able to document 100% of the people recovered from the most severe symptoms of these people that are like ending up in hospitals and things. So I'm not saying that it's a complete cure, because really it gets back to prevention, building the body, building the immune system, and having positive thoughts. You know, James, you've been broadcasting these shows all these years. I've been on a number of your talk shows, and I'm so excited because if people just go to nickdelgado.com as a special offer, besides the Blood Doesn't Lie Amazon book, but we have a book that was banned by Amazon because I was going into all the details that all the censors are attacking, and it's a book called Immune Rejuvenation, and I'll send a free copy ebook to anyone who goes to nickdelgado.com and registers their name, phone number, and email, and we'll send a PDF of that book, and you'll be astonished some of the inside secrets that no one wants you to know. And everyone wants to know secrets, right? They want to hear why the media is suppressing this information, right?
Yes. Yes, indeed. Dr. Nick Delgado with us today. And, Doctor, I appreciate you making time for us today. Before we let you go, run that down one more time, how people can get the book and everything else.
Well, please do go to Amazon and look up Blood